Hello, church family. I want to begin by saying thank you for the ways in which you have stepped up and brought in donations for Blackman Elementary School and for loving on the children of that school. And another thing I would love to say thank you for today is the way in which you stepped up this past Sunday to get stepping stones covered for this upcoming weekend in John and Elaine's absence. So I'm grateful for the ways in which you have chosen to love on your community and to love on God's children. Today I wanted to share a devotional with you that I have been reading, and it's from Timothy Keller's book. It's based on the Psalms, and it's the Songs of Jesus. And so it's some different devotionals that I read from time to time through the Psalms. And so I just felt like I would share one of these with you today, and then we'll chat about it for a few moments. Today we're going to read Psalms 27 verses 1 through 6. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked advanced against me to devour me, it is my enemies and my foes who will stumble and fall. Though an army besiege me, my heart will not fear. Though war break out against me, even then will I be confident. One thing I ask from the Lord, this only do I seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to gaze upon the beauty of the Lord and to seek him in his temple. For in the day of trouble he will keep me safe in his dwelling. He will hide me in a shelter of his sacred tent and set me high upon a rock. Then my head will be exalted above the enemies who surround me. At his sacred tent, I will sacrifice with shouts of joy. I will sing and make music to the Lord. This devotional is about the beauty of God. Is there a certain music that gives you deep joy? Is there a view or a landscape that does the same? If someone says, "What is the use of that?" you answer that the music or the landscape is not the means to some other end, but profoundly satisfying in itself. You see, David's supreme priority is to gaze on the beauty of the Lord, as we heard in verse 4. Gazing is not a one-time glimpse, but a steady, sustained focus. It is not petitionary prayer, but praising, admiring, and enjoying God just for who he is. You see, David finds God's beautiful, not just useful for obtaining goods. To sense God's beauty in the heart is to have such pleasure in him that you rest content. Where do you see God's beauty? In what way do you gaze into God? Learning more about him, learning more about his creation, spending time with him. I will tell you a couple of my favorite ways that I gaze into God's beauty. And one of those is in sunrises or sunsets. I am convinced that one of the ways that God shows us how much he loves us is by painting us a magnificent sunrise or sunset each and every day. You see, as I see that sunrise or that sunset and I see the sun peak above the treetops or start going just below the top of the trees, and the shift of the sky changing, the array of color that is presented, every evening or every morning seems to be different. That's God's beauty. Him painting that sunrise or sunset for us to enjoy and to gaze at him through. Another way in which I love to gaze at God's beauty is through the wild animals that I get to experience around our home. Recently, we have had a mama deer, a doe, and some of her babies. She has a set of twins frolicking around our house and in the fields around our house. And I love watching the baby deer play and interact and leap and jump and get their legs underneath them and just experience that playful spirit. It reminds me that sometimes God wants us to rest in His presence, to be frolicky, to experience laughter and joy in the midst of sometimes challenging situations. So I am grateful for the wild animals and the sunsets that remind me of God's presence, God's goodness, and His joy that He longs for us to experience. I look forward to seeing you on Sunday, and I'm going to encourage you to take just a few minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, to gaze into God through a sunset, a sunrise, or a music, however you see fit. But take some time, gaze into the beauty of God. Hope to see you soon. Bye.